you on the other side of the radio is our greatest source of inspiration and, of course, motivation, and that is why we have to keep it going always. And remember that right here on the Media Extra Show, we have a way of springing up surprises, because it could be this today, it could be another thing tomorrow, but one thing is constant: the fact that we continue to keep up with entertainment, education, and information, because we know that these three things are the very important things that help what radio is all about. And of course, trust us to give you that experience that you can always count on. So trust us to give it to you just the way you like it. And talking about variety, we have a surprise for you. Yes, maybe not the girlfriend show that you have been expecting, but of course, something that will help you, equip you better, and of course, to help you go through life. Remember that today's motivation was basically about having the winning mindset. And thank God, we are going to win before the end of the show. So keep that mindset on, because we have something under our sleeves, and we are going to be unveiling.
So let me use a bit of this mic. All right, people, and I'm sure that you already know that when it comes to building capacity and becoming better versions of ourselves, we literally almost always emphasize that right here on radio. Quick time check is 17 minutes gone past the hour of 1, and usually you'd have the girls join us right here in the studio, but like she said, we have people in the studio, and when we have the opportunity to speak with people that have cracked the code, we must avail ourselves the opportunity to learn from them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Dr. Olumide Emmanuel seated right here in the studio. Now, he's a wealth creation agent. He's a best-selling author. He's a relationship, finance, and leadership coach. And he's a common sense guru. And you know that common sense is what is not usually common these days. Now, alongside Dr. Olumide, we have Dr. Olusegun, and he is a pastor of Excellence Christian Center. They just concluded an event that was basically about capacity building and, wealth creation, if I'm correct about that. And, it was an amazing time and a defined time also. So we have them right here in the studio with us, and they will be availing us the opportunity of the knowledge that they have. So first, welcome. And thank you so much for granting us the opportunity.
Thanks for having us. It's amazing to be here. And we're looking forward to having a nice time with our listeners today.
All right. Definitely start on a good note.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
All right. Thank you so much. Good to be seated right by greatness. And of course, we cannot wait to hear you share your very invaluable insights as the program progresses. Now, we've been talking about wealth creation over time, and of course the need for people to have the winning mindset. Coincidentally, that was the theme that we started today's show on, the fact that people need to go out there to just stay winning. But sometimes it's quite easier said than done, because to stay consistent with that winning mindset, it's always not easy. But what are those things, or what is that one thing that has kept you going all time, especially as regards the focus and of course staying consistent in the niche that you've chosen?
Thanks for having us. Basically, one of the things we need to understand about life is that if you know better, you will do better.
Okay.
And most of the time, a lot of people don't know what they should do, and that's why they are where they are. But it's not just enough to know, you have to apply what you know, because it is what you do with what you know that produces the results.
Okay.
And then when you now do what you need to do and you have the results, you also now need to stay consistent to maintain what you have obtained, because sometimes people don't realize that what you did to obtain, you must continue to do to maintain. So for me as an individual, in the different things that I'm involved in, I want to always spend time to find out what I need to do, and then once I know what I need to do, I stay committed to doing it, and I stay consistent in ensuring that I'm focused on doing what I need to do in order to maintain what I have obtained, so that you will not get to a point where what you have is lost, because we live in a changing world, and you have to continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn consistently. And that's what has helped me. I'm a student for life. I just keep learning and I keep reinventing myself.
Awesome. Wow, I think the roundup is the fact that knowledge is key, basically.
And you're constantly a student. So let's move on to the next question. Now, I happened to come across a video where you were talking about the 5 pyramids of wealth. And I think that is a life-changing. It's a short clip. I came across it on LinkedIn. someone posted it, and I saw that you were talking about urgent 2K and all of that, and it caught my attention because it's a conversation that I feel like we don't really have very often. So I want you to tell us about the 5 pyramids of wealth.
You would need to pay for this one. Well, one of the things I say to people is a lot of us don't understand what we need to understand. Like I said again, if you know better, you do better. When it comes to wealth creation, many times we try to compare ourselves with other people as if we're all on the same page. So I say to people, nobody's your age mate. You're in a class all by yourself. Because who you think is on the same level with you has advantages and disadvantages that you're not aware of. So when it comes to creating wealth, there are 5 different sets of people on the journey to wealth, and that's what forms what we call the pyramid of wealth. So I say to people, if you want to travel, so let's say for instance you want to go to New York or you want to go to the UK, and you call the airline right now and say, please, I would like to find out the cost of the ticket to London or New York. They can't give you the cost. They will have to ask you a question, from where? There is no one that can give you the cost of getting to your destination without knowing exactly where your starting point is.
Exactly.
So the pyramid of wealth is all about everybody understanding where they are in order to successfully navigate their way to where they need to be. So there are 5 levels. At the bottom of the pyramid is like a triangle. At the bottom of the pyramid, which is why we say it's bottom heavy, are those that are what we call financial crisis. Now, those that are in financial crisis, and if you look at Nigeria, United Nations have defined poverty as living below $2 a day, and extreme poverty as living below $1 a day. 70% of Nigerians live in extreme poverty. So majority of people in our world today, even on the continent, are in what we call financial crisis. They don't have a regular source of income. They don't have any income that is regular. They live hand to mouth by begging, by leaning on somebody else. So they are in financial crisis. They don't have anything they can lay claim to be able to live a meaningful life. And that's not the place to be as a child of God or as a citizen of our world, because the world is full of riches. The second set of people are those that are what we call financial instability. Those ones have a job. They are the minimum wage people. They at least every month something is coming in, but their take home does not take them home. They are like people earning 70,000, but every month they need 120. So they will have borrowed the money for the next 2 months to survive this month. And they are the people we call water pass Gary. Because at the end of the day, they are really working. And one thing people don't know is that in every developing nation of the world, anyone that is gainfully employed, even with a minimum wage, has between 4 to 7 people dependent on them. So you that are earning 35K that you are struggling, there are people say, at least you have a job now. If something is coming, help me now. You are like, do you understand what you're talking about? It's 35. Now that they say minimum wage is now 70, even though 70, what 35 can do last year, 70 cannot do this year.
Of course.
But people will now think that at least they are paying you 80K now. That 80K you need probably 150 to survive. So those are people that are in financial instability. They are not stable. The money they are getting is not enough to take care of them. Then the third set of people are the most deceived set of people. They are people that are in what we call financial stability. Now, you see, when you are financially unstable or you are in financial crisis, at least your situation is defined. You know that you are in trouble, you'll be looking for help. But you see, those people that are financially stable, they are the most deceived set of people because they have a good job, they probably even have a house of their own, their children are in private school, they travel abroad, they have cars, they have savings. So they actually think that they are okay. And that's why they are deceived. Because they think they are okay. Many of them don't know. They don't know that they don't know. They don't want to know. And there's this pride and arrogance that goes along with this group of people just because they have a good job. But for many of them, everything they have is dependent on them exchanging their time and energy for money. So the day they lose their job, 60 days, 90 days, they are
back to.
So you now realize that so you see a lot of them, you think, he's a manager, he let him lose his job. You discover he's just a poor man that is well packaged.
Okay.
So that is the middle level of the triangle. Then we now move into what we call financial independence. So when you get to financial independence, these are a group of people that have come to a level where the income from their assets and from their investment can take care of all their needs. So they don't even need to work. Every money they are getting from their investment and their asset takes care of them. then you now have the ultimate, which is financial freedom, which are people that the income from their assets and their investment takes care of them and can take care of as many people as possible. That's why you have billionaires that can set up a foundation, put in $10 million, $50 million, and now employ 100 people and be paying 100 people salary to share money. Because if you set up a foundation, the people you are employing them to come and share money. So that's how that. So that's the pyramid of wealth. So you need to know where you are and know the pros and cons of where you are in order to navigate your way.
Thank you very much. Because like I said, it was very short, but it was an amazing clip I watched over there. Now the problem is, how do we get to this place? Is it smart work that takes us there, or is it hard work, or both of it?
Okay, so for those that are listening to us right now, you said earlier on that we have just concluded a meeting. We have actually not concluded. We started yesterday.
It's still on. Oh, it's still on.
So tonight is the conclusion.
Okay.
So if you are listening to us anywhere you are right now, and you can find your way to the Excellence Center today, it's 4 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
We're going to be there for 3 hours. Yesterday, I did like 2.5 hours yesterday, and we did question and answers. So tonight we're going to do the same. So if you are anywhere, you actually need to find your, because tonight I'm actually dealing with wealth creation tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to be focusing on wealth creation to just give people the basics of how to create wealth. So your question is, do we do hard work or smart work? You need both.
Okay.
You see, because many times I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, I can't come and kill myself. All this working for people. I want to go and start my own business so that I can wake up when I want. I can do what I want. I won't say yes to anybody. Far.
Wow.
When you start your own business, you will even have closing time. Even when you are sleeping, your head is working. Because the head is the headquarters. So you find out that it's not as easy as many people think it is. So you need hard work, but you need smart work. So the challenge is that people work so hard, but they don't work smart. So you need hard work and you need smart work. And it's a combination of both that helps you to be able to become what you need to become.
I think it's quite profound with your explanation as to, some people would say you have to work smart, some people would say you have to work hard. But with your revelation, we know that it takes a combination of both to achieve or to get to that point. Now, I'm going to come back to the pastor in our midst. I'm going to look at it from the spiritual aspect, because you know that we are very spiritual in this climb, and the fact that people take what they believe in very seriously. And as a man of authority, not just the man of God, but also a man that people look up to. When it comes to world creation, there is a controversy, yes, because there is a part of the Bible that says the love of money, I think something like that, is the beginning of, root of evil. Yes, and you see some people say, oh, my own is enough for me. They are contented. So when do we get to a point of differentiating contentment and complacency to a point where people are so contented in their condition that wealth creation seems to be something more of the worldly aspect? I don't know if you get my question. As a pastor, from your perspective, when it comes to wealth creation, if the Christian brethren is listening to you, what do you have to say about that to clarify certain controversies or beliefs
about
wealth creation?
Wealth creation, and
yes,
contentment, and the love of money.
Yes.
All right. Actually, the money you make has nothing to do with you consuming all the things you make. You have to think about other people, just like what Dr. Olumide Emmanuel said. You have about 7 persons depending on you. So it is important for you to realize that if you make this money, other people benefit. Also, if you are poor, other people will suffer. Therefore, the love of money here, I don't think we should be talking about love of money. We're talking about being too desperate and you are ready to do anything to have the money. So that's what the Bible is talking about, the love of money. When you are so desperate and anything, killing, 419, stealing, fake prophecy, what do you call it now? All manner of things we do in our nation, exploiting people just to gain money. That's love of money. But when you have to do something legitimate to earn the money, and as far as this money is now, you cannot only finish everything you make. That people are going to benefit from what you're making.
Yeah.
So it's the love of money has nothing to do with the volume. It has to do with the spirit behind what you're earning. If the reason why you're earning this money is because you want to use it for self-aggrandizement, you are not thinking about sharing with other persons. I think that's where the love or the passion or the desperation comes in. Of course, everybody likes money. Everybody wants to have money. But as far as you're going to use this money to develop people, to help people, and to look for how this money can help others to achieve their dreams, no matter how much it is, it has nothing to do with the love. It has to do with you having as much as you can have legitimately, but using it for yourself, also for people around you, and also, if I have, as a pastor, for furthering the gospel of Christ. That has to do with the reason why we should look for money.
I think that clarification was very important, because even though as a pastor, other people would deliberately maybe want to try to, like, should I say, yes, misrepresent facts. The Bible is quite clear on that, but other people will be like, I listened to you, motivator, so that is why I have to do what I need to do. They will always have excuses. So I think it's very important that we clarify, especially to the young people, that as much as it is important for you to create wealth, it must be done the right way.
Legitimately.
Of course.
So let's go back to Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Thank you so much again for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you have been hanging out with us right here at Eagles 102.3 FM, and this is your radio experience you can count on. We have been hanging out with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, and we also have Pastor David Olusegun, the pastor of Excellence Christian Center. And you already heard them say at 4 p.m. today they will be cracking the code of wealth. I don't know where you guys want to be, but just go on and follow the programs, find your way here, and be a part of everything that will be unveiled today in the segment. So, sir, now let's say, for the benefit of all of the people listening to you right now, because we have our audience cut across just the young. We have the young, the old. We have people who are currently confused. I don't know what to do about life right now. We have people that have even cracked the code right now. But if you're speaking to the audience of people who are confused or feeling stuck about where they are right now, what valuable instruction or information would you give?
Well, in order for them to become wealthy, I would just give them what I call the 3 simple steps that can help them to achieve their wealth goal. Number 1 is financial intelligence. I keep going back to the same statement. If you know better, you will do better. So I say that if you are not informed, you will be deformed. If you are not inspired, you will expire. If you are not updated, you become outdated. What you know determines how far you go. Those who know rule over those who do not know. Information is the key to transformation. Whenever you wake up, that's when your morning starts. So the first thing is financial intelligence. Because schools don't teach financial intelligence, and that's why a lot of people are poor. Having PhD in swimming technology does not make you a swimmer. A lot of people have gone to school, they have master's degree in business administration, they can't run a barbing salon successfully. They can't run a restaurant successfully. Why? Because theory and practical are 2 different things. So the first thing anybody should do is to become financially literate. He's a pastor, but he's also a medical doctor. And then there are people that are lawyers, they are professionals. You guys are broadcasters. In order for you to say you are a medical doctor, it was not conferred upon you. Do you understand now? I've got 2 PhDs, so that's why I'm a doctor. But there are people that are doctor, but it's honorary. It was conferred. So you cannot confer upon someone to say, today I declare you wealthy. No. So in order for that person to become a medical doctor, the person has to go to school and submit to a body of knowledge consistently over a long period of time. By the time they are entering, they are an individual. When they come out, they become a doctor. Because they have become, by virtue of the knowledge they receive. So in order for you to become rich, you have to become rich first to attract riches. You have to become wealthy to attract wealth. That's where the first point comes from. Financial intelligence. That's what makes you to become. Because you have to become it to attract. So a lot of people are always asking, what can I do to become rich? No, who must you become? So you must become a rich person, and then you can now attract riches. So that's the first thing, financial intelligence. And because schools don't teach it, it comes by personal development and capacity building. So you have to be intentional, consistent, and strategic about continually developing yourself through books, tapes, like the meeting we're having tonight. Now you come, you learn, and then what you learn, you get materials, you study, you put them together, and you move on. Number 2 is financial planning. If you fail to plan, you have already planned to fail. Proper planning prevents poor performance. If you plan well, you will perform well. So you need to now sit down and have a plan. when we looked at the pyramid earlier on, you need to know where you are. So if you are developing a financial plan, you need to know there are 26 questions you need to answer that are all in my book, but we can't do that now. Number one is to find out how old am I and where am I now? Because there are people listening to us right now. There are people that if you give them 1 million naira now, it's like a miracle. You have turned their life around because of where they are. But there are people, if you give them 1 million, it doesn't make any difference because they are owing 15 million. Okay. So even if you give them 1 million, they are still 40 million in debt. So it's not, it's good, but it's like, well, thank you, but
drop in the ocean.
Yeah, my journey is different. So based on that, you need to know how old am I, where am I now? So in financial planning, there are 3 things you must do. You must ascertain your location. You must determine your destination. Then you now choose the vehicle that will take you from where you are to where you need to be. So ascertaining your location is what we call your present financial position. Determining your destination is what we call your desired financial destination. Choosing the vehicle is what we call the vehicle of wealth. Because your present financial position, your desired financial destination is 2 different places. The distance between them is what we call your wealth gap.
Okay.
To bridge that gap, you need a vehicle. Now, the vehicle of wealth creation is an entire module on its own. So I came in from Lagos. I'm now in Abuja. I flew in yesterday. It was about an hour flight. But now, if someone left Lagos yesterday by road, at the same time when I left the airport, there's no way we'll get here at the same time. So when we talk about vehicle, if we both leave now for Lagos and I decide to fly, somebody else decide to drive, somebody else decide to trek to Lagos. By virtue of the vehicle we chose, it has already decided when we arrive. The person flying will arrive first, all things being equal. The person driving will arrive next, all things being equal. The person trekking may never arrive or will arrive last. Now, so when it comes to wealth creation, if you are now choosing vehicle, so if you now say, look, I want to be a salary earner, you are trekking. Are you saying this? So most people that are salary earners are poor, not because they are not hardworking, but because they are not smart working. They are working hard, but they are trekking. No matter how hardworking you are, you cannot get to Lagos faster than somebody that is flying. So you now choose your vehicle. So in the vehicle, we now have different things you can use as a vehicle. Then the final step is financial discipline. Financial discipline is where we separate the boys from the men. Because everything I've said now is easier said than done. It's sweet to talk about. When it's time to do it, that's when you realize that easy. So that financial discipline is where you now have to stay focused on what you need to do, stay consistent on it, and avoid distraction and to keep doing it. And once you understand these 3 things and you stay at it, it's only a matter of time. You wake up one day and discover that your story has changed.
Wow. It's actually a lot, and I don't know if you want to.
No, I'm just saying it's a lot to process because
it's
like you said,
it's so wealthy listening to him. Actually,
it's easier said than done, and one of the major problems we have is actually implementing what we have learned. Because I'm sure that thousands of Nigerians listen to you. I mean, your page is very, very active. You have materials out there that people should subscribe to, buying and listening to, but that willpower to implement what you have said is the problem. And if you are listening to us, don't be the person stopping your growth, and don't be the person hindering your development, because again, we can only do what we can do by talking about it, and the people who have the mandate to educate you on these things can only talk about it to an extent which they have the ability to. But it still depends on you. I think the bulk of the responsibility depends on you and the decision that you make, especially when it comes to having that financial freedom or the stability that you want. I think this will bring us to the very end of this segment today, if you'd allow.
I was okay.
Okay, please.
Possibly the end, but he said something that got me. The means that you're trying to get to your financial destination is very important. I would like to address back to the statement that was made by a popular Nigerian socialite rather, talking about Cubana chief priest, and it kind of divided opinion on social media about success and of course getting to your destination. He said something, I'm trying to paraphrase that. He said you need to package in life for you to succeed, that you have to look rich for you to get some doors open for you, because no matter how much you work, if you do not put some level of packaging, if you do not get to look like what you want to achieve, there is no way nobody is going to ever call you. What do you think about this mindset? What's your perception?
There is a positive and a negative dimension to packaging.
All right.
There is nothing wrong in packaging. We call it packaging, we call it presentation, because this is a phone. When I bought the phone, it was packaged. It was put in a package, but the package is lost. I just took, this is what I need. But if I open the package and there's nothing inside, it's a fraud.
Exactly.
So you don't package something that does not have quality. So the purpose of packaging, because people will see you before they hear you. The way you appear determines the way people will see you. The way you dress determines the way you'll be addressed. So packaging is all about presenting what you have in such a way that it will attract and appeal to people. So there's nothing wrong in that, but you have something you are packaging. But the negative part of packaging is packaging nothing. So you just have empty barrel, you just package them. By the time they now come, there's nothing to offer. So that is also, yes, you need to package yourself and present yourself well, but you have something you are packaging. The same way I use this phone, you package the phone. If you have food now, I cannot sell food to you and put it in your hand. I'll put it in a bowl. That bowl is the package, but there's something inside. So there must be something you are packaging. And what you are packaging must be valuable to the market. But if you are nothing to package, just put empty things together, then you are a fraud.
Live fake life. Live fake life.
Avoid packaging emptiness.
Yes, and there's something he said from the start. He talked about wealth is not baptism of wealth. Like you
don't confer it like
you don't confer it on
the
people.
honorary PhD that they say you are now a doctor by.
So you attract it by what you become. So I think that's the take home for me. I don't know what your take home is, but I'm sure that you got something today here that you shouldn't forget. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
So how do they, tonight's meeting?
I'd love to tell you about the
All right, please.
meeting this
Yes,
evening.
please, go
we
ahead.
start by 4 p.m. Today is 18th of November. All right, so the address is plot 1527. Not too far from this place. So if you know where Go FM is, you know the location.
Do they really know?
They should know. Okay.
Excellence Center.
Excellent Center.
Yeah.
It's plot 1527, Kaura District, opposite Sun City Estate.
Yeah.
So the road opposite Sun City Estate, that's where Excellent Christian Center is. So you can be up with there. Dr. Olumide Emmanuel is going to be giving exaggerated a lot of details this evening, and it's going to be awesome. There was something I wanted to say, sir, before we go. So the issue of wealth creation from where you are, most people are not aware of, they don't know what to do. Probably if you graduate as a pharmacist, even a doctor, you are trained on how to treat patients, but you are not trained how to earn the money. So that's why you say a lot of professionals are extremely poor. Now, if they're employed into government, I started advocating something recently. If you're employed into government, I'm not saying I don't want anybody to castigate me, but if you're employed to government, people should not be able to spend more than 10 years in government. It's expected that you should have been trained to go and start your own, so that the next generation will have the same opportunity of being trained. But by the time you have someone spending 35 years with government, sincerely speaking, there's no future for the next generation. That's why we're having a large volume of unemployment. So I expect that 10 years should be an opportunity for you to train yourself, to learn, then to be able to start something. What do you have to say about it? It's a theory I'm trying to postulate.
Yeah, it's a good concept and a good idea, but when you look at it, depends on the aspect of government that they are in, and also depend on the industry they are functioning in. So if you are talking about pure civil service, then I will agree that can be done. But if you are talking about different agencies and parastatal, there are agencies and parastatal that are still about professionalism. So for instance, now someone is in the government hospital. He's a medical doctor, so he has to be there forever. Do you understand? He can't do 10 years and say, I'm no more a doctor.
No.
With the government.
With the government, that's what I'm saying. You should be able to go and
practice independently, something else.
Independent.
Yeah. So what you are advocating is for us to become an entrepreneurial nation.
Exactly.
That's exactly
which
what
I
I'm
agree with.
Yes.
Which I agree with.
Yes.
It's just that I am always very careful about blankets.
Exactly.
Because one size does not always fit all.
Yeah, that's true.
And it depends on, so for some people, they need to be in a place for a long time to
Make
continue to
impact.
offer value, but they just need to now change their system. So if I've done 10 years, I should now come to a level where I'm bringing in the next generation and I'm mentoring them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just like a student can become a lecturer
That's exactly what
and
I'm
then
saying.
lecture the next generation, then it can become a cycle
Yes.
of productivity for the nation.
All right, so those are some of the things we're going to be advocating this evening. A lot of these
Okay.
challenging thoughts and then bringing clarity to a lot of unanswered questions. So Dr. Olumide Emmanuel is going to be doing justice to a lot of these questions in the heart of people. So we expect to see people this evening by 4 p.m. and then 3 hours is going to be on ground talking to people, and then there'll be question and answer section also.
All right.
Thank you. So see you guys.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Dr. David Olusegun. Thank you so much, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. We'll thank Dr. David very much because he's the one that brought Dr. Olumide to us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have heard the nuggets that we did right now. So thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today. We're wrapping it up right here and right now. So like I said, take home everything that you have learned today and make conscious effort. Remember, you can rewatch this episode on our YouTube or our Facebook page at Eagles FM Abuja in case you missed out, or in case you want to have a family member hear what you have heard today. Just go on to Facebook and YouTube at Eagles FM Abuja. Click, like, comment, and rewatch. Thank you so much for being here too.
Yes, that is what we get to give to you, that experience that you can always count on. And remember that every moment of surprise is the part where you don't just get to be entertained, but of course informed and educated. And today, one key thing for me is the fact that knowledge is key, and information is power, information is security, and this also has to do with your financial status as well. And I would like to go back to the very beginning, the fact that he said, if you know better, you will, you will do better, because information is very important. No matter how competent you think you are, you should never stop learning. You should always be a student of life, because it is very important for you. Well, thank you very much, very distinguished personalities, for honoring us with your presence. I must say that it's been an amazing time of learning, and I hope that that feeling is mutual for our listener on the other side. Thank you so much, Saz, for making out this time to be with us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, and to you, listener, where would you rather be? I'm hoping that you will be here at the Excellence Christian Center by 4 p.m. so that you can listen to more of this goodness right here. Thank you very much for always listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Well, Martha, I think this is the point where we get to wrap up the Midday Extra show. We had to go, but we just have to go.
We've got to go. Let's go and digest what we heard today, Thank you guys for being here. And
You
tomorrow,
need to be here because I'm sitting beside greatness and I don't know how to behave, but I'm trying to be a good girl that I am. But wow, it's good that you have got the opportunity to also share what I am experiencing here in the studio. And I hope that you keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.